Okay, I have a...
That's my opinion!
Welcome back to Opinionated. My name is Julia, and on today's episode, we're doing something a little bit different. Today is our first official episode of Opinionated HD, Opinionated High Definition, where I will be watching and recapping a movie to you with my thoughts in real time as I am stoned out of my mind on a 15 milligram edible. And this is your official warning that I will be fully spoiling the entire plot of this movie. Ugh, spoilers. I'm about 30 minutes into my edible. I'm starting to feel real fancy. Let's get into the movie. The movie that I have settled on today is Nocturne. I found it on Amazon Prime. It is starring Sydney Sweeney, and you guys already know how I feel about Sydney Sweeney, but this is young Sydney Sweeney. This is Handmaid's Tale Sydney Sweeney. So her performance is really 50-50 shot, but I'm excited to watch it, and I'm excited to take you guys through this beautiful journey with me. Okay, opening sequence. Sydney Sweeney is sitting at a piano playing music with her sister. Her hand double is 100% a 30-year-old man. This movie is gonna be fucking awesome. Okay, so Sydney Sweeney and her sister are both pianists, and it looks like her sister is better than her, and Sydney Sweeney is kind of the loser sister. They go to the same fine arts boarding school, and a girl who attended their school just killed herself. Sydney Sweeney's twin has a boyfriend, and she just ran up to him and started making out with him in front of their dad. Now that they're back at school, everybody is talking about the girl who killed herself, and they have a memorial where the principal explains that she's actually the most talented, amazing musician at the school, and she was supposed to have this really big solo concert, but since she killed herself, somebody else is going to have to do it. And they're going to have a competition in her memory to decide who gets to do the concert. And Sydney Sweeney is sitting there like, oh my God, maybe it'll get to be me. That'd be super cool. But her sister's looking super cocky, like she already knows that it's going to be her because she's better than Sydney Sweeney. I don't know any of these character names. I don't know if they've been saying them. Nobody is at all phased that they're going to throw this competition. Nobody thinks it's weird. Everybody's like, oh my God, this is such an exciting opportunity. But like, this chick carved a bunch of music notes all over the walls and then threw herself out of a 3-story building, and nobody's phased. The sister is sketchy as fuck. She gets a phone call and she won't let anybody see what it is, even her twin sister. She just like hides her phone. Sydney Sweeney's hanging out by like cubbies. I actually don't know where she is. I know she's supposed to be at the school, but she's not at the lockers. She's next to like a cubby system, and she finds this notebook that was written by the dead girl, and instead of just putting it back, she puts it in her bag and leaves with it. She puts it in her bag because she's late for piano lessons, I think. She talks to her piano teacher because she wants to change her music piece for the big concert because nobody ever won anything with Mozart, but he tells her that she's not good enough to play any of the pieces she wants to and that she should just stick with Mozart. So she gets really upset and she leaves, and she sees her sister in another room going all crazy on a piano, and the music gets really tense, like she's gonna murder someone. And then she corners her sister's piano teacher and is trying to talk to him. I'm pretty sure she wants to fuck this piano teacher. She wants to fuck this guy, I think. How old is she supposed to be? I can't tell if they're in college or in high school. But, well, no, because her sister's going to Juilliard, so they're definitely supposed to be in high school. Okay, so hopefully she does not try to fuck the teacher, but maybe it's just Sydney Sweeney. I don't know. Anyway, she goes into a private room, and she starts playing her sister's piano piece and, like, teaching herself how to play it. And on her way out, she hears the violin piece that the dead girl was supposed to play at her solo concert from down the hall, but nobody's actually there. It turns out that the sister's piano teacher actually heard her practicing, so he comes in, he's like, does your sister know that you're gonna play the same piece? And she's like, no, please don't tell her, like, she's gonna be so mad at me. And then the sister walks in and is like, what are we talking about? And they're like, nothing. So it just kind of looks like they want to fuck. I really can't tell. I really don't know what's going on. Sydney Sweeney's feeling super anxious, so she goes to the bathroom to take a pill, but she ends up taking like 4 pills. And I don't know what this medication is. I assume like Xanax, but now she's high as fuck and she's about to audition or compete for her spot in the solo concert. She's high as fuck and she goes to audition, and they announce to the entire room that she's playing the same piece as her sister right after her sister played it. Oh my god, but because she's stoned as fuck, she absolutely eats it down. She kills it. Oh my god. But while it's happening, she's literally having a hallucination of the dead girl's practice room. And in the hallucination, she goes out the door and she sees herself in a white dress standing on a stage with an entire room full of people just clapping and cheering for her, and she's standing in front of this huge piano. So I guess the implication is that this is her solo concert, and she just gave a freaky look at herself. She's like in the audience looking up at herself on the stage, and she just gave like a movie smile. Back in reality, it turns out she played the piano so hard she passed out, and she wakes up to an empty room with just her piano teacher and some random woman shining a flashlight in her eyes. And now everyone is super concerned that she's gonna kill herself. She decides she's going to start writing in the dead girl's notebook, but when Sydney Sweeney opens the notebook, there's this like super freaky tarot card looking picture of this woman holding like 3 things in her hand, and then it cuts to like Sydney Sweeney with the 3 pills that made her super high. So I think the implication is that she's like possessed by the dead girl, Maura, or her like prophecy from her notebook. I think that's where this is going. Nobody's really talking to her, sitting with Sydney Sweeney. And then in slow motion, Sydney Sweeney's sister starts making out with her boyfriend while Sydney Sweeney just glares at them. Oh, she's gonna steal the boyfriend probably. She's gonna steal her concert, she's gonna steal Juilliard probably, and she's gonna steal the boyfriend. Okay, we're back in piano lessons with Sydney Sweeney and her piano teacher. He apologizes for not believing in her, but he thinks she should still manage her expectations. And she gets super pissed and starts talking about all of these things she didn't get to do because she never got to do because she dedicated her life to music. But her list consists of never smoking a cigarette. She's like 16, I think. Not losing her virginity. Again, this is a 16-year-old girl. Oh my god, she just called the piano teacher a deformed drunk, and he slapped her across the face. Oh, and he knows he's cooked. He looks so scared. She just walked out and he looks terrified. And she immediately reported it. It immediately cut to him being fired and let go. And so the administration asks her who she wants her new teacher to be, and she immediately says her sister's teacher. She wants her sister's teacher to teach her her sister's song. Sydney Sweeney is such a fucking snake in this movie. And in retaliation, her sister puts like 8 used tampons, and I'm talking like fully blood soaked. I have never seen a tampon this bloody, and there's 8 of them in a ball in her little like cubby from earlier. So she grabs them with her hand and marches over to her sister, just still carrying the bloody tampons, blood dripping down her arm. Everybody's staring. She tries to confront her, but her sister's like, okay, it's fine, now we're even. And then she says woombies. Like roomies, but woomies. Sydney Sweeney looks pissed. She does not look happy after this interaction. So she immediately goes and takes 3 more Xanax. I'm just going to keep calling them Xanax. I don't know what they are, but that's what I'm guessing. She's high as fuck again, and she's taking her first class with her sister's teacher. And he's already saying inappropriate things. Like, he's like, why are you playing Mozart? Why aren't you playing the song that you stole from your sister? Or did you just do that to, quote unquote, get on your sister's tits? That is such a weird thing for this grown man to be saying to this child. Guys, I feel like this movie's gonna be pedophilic. And we find out that the music teacher was actually also the dead girl's music teacher. So Sydney Sweeney flips through her music book notebook again, and the next tarot card prophecy drawing in the notebook is 2 people fucking. So I think now is when she fucks her sister's boyfriend. She finds out that all of the symbols and scribbles in the notebook are actually just letters backwards, because her mom sent her a picture of her in front of the Leaning Tower of Pisa and said, "Happy Da Vinci Country." So I guess that cued her into take the notebook to a mirror and look at what it says. And all of the tarot cards have different labels like triumph, information, and none of them really make sense. I think the pictures are more depicting of the plot, and the next one is two people fucking. So I think that's where this is heading still. And I was right, because now randomly, for like literally the next scene, for no reason, is her sneaking into the woods with her sister's boyfriend to go to a party alone. Where is her sister? She just decided to pull up with her sister's boyfriend? What is going on right now? They're all gonna take drugs in the woods, and he just like stuck his tongue out, put it in the center, and like it back into his mouth, and then offered her one. So yeah, they're about to fuck. She gets super high and wanders into a cave where she hears her sister arguing with someone on the phone, and she's like, I have a boyfriend, leave me alone, stop fucking calling me. And I'm gonna guess that's the person who was calling her earlier in the movie. And then the sister's boyfriend shows up, and he's like, hey girl, hey, do you know where my girlfriend is? And Sydney Sweeney just throws up everywhere. I still don't know Sydney Sweeney's character name. The twins' name is V, so we will be calling V by her name going forward. And the boyfriend's name is Max, so we will be calling Max his name going forward. Max helps Sydney Sweeney after she threw up, and they end up connecting emotionally over why they started playing music. And Sydney Sweeney confesses that she stole the dead girl's notebook and that she's studying it and it's talking to her. And Max is just like, what can you do? If it works, it works. And now she's like, I've never been kissed. I've literally never been kissed. Sydney Sweeney tells Max that she would like to be kissed, but V hears and is like, are you fucking serious? Like, you stole my piano piece, now you're trying to steal my boyfriend. And she's super pissed, and they get into like a physical altercation and then run off into the woods. Sydney Sweeney ends up tripping and falling down, and she looks up to the sky and sees this glowing version of a symbol that Maura, the dead girl, has drawn all over her notebook. While Sydney Sweeney was hallucinating this symbol, her sister falls off a cliff. She looks super dead. She looks super dead. Oh, she's not dead. She's alive. The boyfriend calls an ambulance, and he tells Jules to go tell everybody at the party to go back to bed. And then she runs through the Stranger Things abyss to go talk to them, I guess. I don't know. It just cuts to it being the morning after. And Sydney Sweeney wakes up at her desk where she's written her sister's name over and over and over again on like 40 different sheets of paper. And then she looks at Maura's notebook, and she sees that the next picture, the next drawing, is a girl laid out in the same position that V was when she fell off the cliff and was laying at the bottom. Oh, I think she's just now connecting that the pictures were corresponding to her life. I think I accidentally figured that out before she did. Sydney Sweeney gets called into the principal's office, and I literally fucking called it. Her sister broke her arm in 2 different places and can't play for 6 months. So Sydney Sweeney is going to take her place at Juilliard, and her sister's not going to go. What did I say? She took her concert, she took her man, and now she took her scholarship. Her sister's super pissed and runs out, and Sydney Sweeney goes after her, but instead of comforting her or apologizing, because V's like sitting here sobbing about how she's lost everything, she's like, who the fuck were you talking to on the phone? I saw you on the phone last night. Who were you talking to? And she's like, you don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, I know you're cheating on your boyfriend. And her sister's like, yeah, and you're gonna tell him, aren't you? You're gonna tell him because you want to fuck him. And then she just storms off. So after failing to resolve that conflict with her sister, she immediately goes to Max, the sister's boyfriend, and starts talking to him all crazy about the book again. And she's showing him the pictures, and she's like, look, this is how V looked when she fell. Like, this is me with my 3 pills. She starts getting really worked up and telling him that she thinks she's going crazy. And he's like, girl, you're just looking at these pictures and projecting them because you're crazy. So I'm kind of confused by this conversation, because she's looking for comfort because she feels crazy, and he's like, you are, which she is, to be fair. You know, actually, that was a pretty valid reaction. I judged that too harshly. We then see Sydney Sweeney fall into this routine of doing her drugs and playing piano and hallucinating, and doing her drugs and playing piano and hallucinating, all while she's like taking a test. She ends up hallucinating herself back into the dead girl's practice room, where she starts crying, and Max shows up randomly and starts comforting her. And she's like, where's V? And he's like, I don't know, but we actually just broke up. So, oh my God, guys, I think it's time. She's finally going to lose her virginity. Now all she has to do is smoke a cigarette. Anyways, he goes, I just broke up with your sister. And she goes, good. And they just start making out right there in the practice. Oh, their clothes are coming off. They're about to fuck. Yeah, it's time. On the floor? The most accurate thing about this movie is that I tried to skip ahead because I didn't want to watch the sex scene, but he immediately finished. And that, if I remember anything about losing my virginity, yeah, like 3 fucking seconds. Oh, she's really upset. He's really embarrassed and putting on his clothes. He's running out. And she's like, what the fuck is happening right now? She's left on the floor of this practice room, just like confused. The sisters go to their birthday dinner with their piano teacher and their parents tell the piano teacher that they're actually really scared that their daughters are going to be unemployed because what career can you actually have as a musician? And the teacher tells a story. And the teacher tells a story about a composer who said that the devil told him that if he kills someone, he'll give him the best song ever. So he did it, and now that's the only song that he's famous for. None of his other songs are famous. And V gets really upset, throws a glass of water all over him. So my current theory, V was cheating on Max with the teacher, the piano teacher. That's who she was on the phone with. She called it off with him. So he started sabotaging shit. That's why he's encouraging her sister to like betray her and go against her. And that's why he's giving extra attention to Sydney Sweeney so that he can piss off Vi because they were having an affair. The parents are drunk and can't drive. So the professor offers to drive Juliet back to the school. And instead he drives her to his house. So I was right once again. While she's at the professor's house, she gets a text from Max that says that he's sorry, but that can't happen anymore. It was a mistake. And she just deletes the text message and then immediately starts flirting with the piano teacher. She tries to fuck the teacher and he's like, ew, get off of me. Like, I would never. You're a student. And she's like, really? Because I know that you were fucking my sister. And he's like, how do you know that? And she's like, I saw your number in her phone and I didn't know until you just tried to give it to me. But you're in love with her and you've been fucking her, haven't you? And he breaks down and confesses everything. She tells him that he doesn't want to fuck her because he's just mad that he's a loser and she's going to be great one day. And he's like, respectfully, no, you're not. Everyone who's ever been great at music or at piano was famous when they were like 6 years old. You don't have it. You're good, but you're not going to be great. So stop setting that expectation for yourself. She gets super, super pissed and throws this like super prestigious piano award he has in the fire and then just leaves. She rushes to the notebook to see what the next picture is, but the page is torn out. So she goes to the next page, closes her eyes, and like has a mini orgasm while she's possessed and draws a picture. The picture she ends up drawing is a girl stepping off of a ledge with the word sacrifice at the bottom. So naturally, she lights the entire book on fire in her bathroom. I'm not gonna lie, guys, Sydney Sweeney's really bad in this movie. Her performance is just... it's just not it. Like, every time she's supposed to be freaking out, I don't believe it. She's just taking really big breaths. It's the night of the concert, and Sydney Sweeney is getting dressed in her dressing room. She's wearing the white dress, just like her vision, and her sister comes in and kind of apologizes for being a bitch earlier in the movie, but she's like, what did I do to make you hate me so much? And she's having this whole confrontation with her. Sydney Sweeney does not give a fuck. She's kind of smiling. Like, I can't tell if this is just her being a bad actor. Because, like, she's crying, but she's kind of smiling. Oh, no, she's being a cunt. She was like, I was better than you. And she's like, you were better than me. So I think Sydney Sweeney's just a cunt now. Sydney Sweeney tries to give a whole, like, just wait and see when those Juilliard scouts up there see me. And her sister's like, you dumbass fucking bitch. There aren't Juilliard scouts here. Juilliard doesn't send out scouts because it's literally the best art school in the world. They don't have to do that. You dumb fuck. And now Sydney Sweeney's like, don't mess with my head. And she's like, I'm not messing with your head. We're both failures. Vi drops this absolute bar where she says, you could go out there and play the best music performance in the history of the world, and it still wouldn't change the fact that you have nowhere to fucking go next year. That was good shit. That was like when she got slapped across the face. That was real nice. Oh, that was incredible. And now Sydney Sweeney's tweaking and taking like triple the amount of drugs and like staring at herself in the mirror Black Swan style. Sydney Sweeney goes out to play her concert piece, and she shakes the maestro's hand and sits down at the piano, and everybody's waiting for her to start playing. And she looks out at the audience, and she realizes that she can't do it. So she stands up, and she runs off, and then we get another montage of her crying and, like, banging her head against a wall and, like, hitting at her head and sobbing. And then the exit sign starts glowing in the same like hallucinating way that she keeps experiencing throughout this movie. And so she starts following the glow all the way up to the roof. Oh my god, no way. This is so unoriginal. Oh my god, she's about to throw herself off the roof. Finally, some good cinematography, though. This is the first good visual shot in the movie. Never mind, it just cut to the worst green screen I've ever seen in my life. Oh, she's sticking her foot off the roof, so she's posed like the girl in the picture that she drew. She looks up and she's hallucinating the same light that she's been hallucinating this whole time. She smiles and then she throws herself off the roof. Oh wait, I'm confused. It just cut to her back in the concert hall. She just finished her piece. Oh, she's also really confused. She's like, wait, I thought I just killed myself. Where the fuck am I? And her sister's like smiling at her from the crowd and everybody's applauding. Just like the vision she had earlier. And she tries to run off the stage again, but they stop her with a huge bouquet of flowers, and everybody's giving her a standing ovation. Wait, I thought she was gonna kill herself, though. Okay. I guess it was a hallucination the whole time. Oh, and her principal just hugged her and went, "You're a star." Oh, I think this is the hallucination then, because she is not a star. I think she's dead. Oh! It just cut to a really gory shot of her, like, impaled on a statue after falling off the roof. And there's, like, blood all over her. She looks super fucked up. Yeah, the hallucination was her finishing the concert because she's, like, fully impaled. And we see it. Like, we see the whole thing. And now students are coming out of the building. Oh, my God, and nobody sees her. All of the students are, like, swirling around her on the campus and literally nobody notices her. I get that that's supposed to be powerful, but it's not really hitting for me, but it's okay. I get the point. Oh, that was it. The movie's over. Okay. Final thoughts for Nocturne. That was pretty mediocre, leaning towards bad. It was entertaining, and the pacing was pretty good. Sydney Sweeney's performance was bad. The girl who plays her sister V was pretty good. The boyfriend was bad. Both of the piano teachers were bad. The parents were only there for like 2 seconds, so like I can't really say. But Nocturne is kind of just Whiplash meets Black Swan, but made by a Lifetime original movie. I think this movie will cater nicely to people who like to read scary books but don't like to watch scary movies. However, the last shot is incredibly gory, so if you know that going into it, you should be fine, I'm sure. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me again here on Opinionated. My name is Julia, and I'll see you next Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard.
That's